Starting.
Yeah, I'll take this one, I suppose.
Yeah,
down in the bottom right. In the blue, the Terran player who won last game. Can he finish off the group? He is.
LGIM MVP from Europe.
MVP forcing this third game and starting to the top left is his opponent on a kill-on. Starting in red. Also for LGIM we have
LGIM Kangho from Korea.
Doing his trademark extractor trick.
Let's see what Kangho has in mind for this game. He showed us very different strategies in the series against MVP. The fast Nidus network attempt was definitely a very entertaining one. Didn't work out in the end. Game 1, very Mutaling, Baneling heavy. Against Young before that, only Roaches and Banelings. What does he has up his sleeve in game number 3?
Yeah, we're going to find out very, very soon. You know, Lucira is just so aggressive today. And the one game that I liked the most out of him, to be honest, was game 1 of this final series, where he just played a more passive style with the Mutalisk, shut down drops, played for the late game. He has that in him. It just begs the question is, why does he keep falling back to these aggressive attacks?
He wants the easy win here.
Yeah, it starts to seem that way. You know, maybe part of the reason, especially in this series, is that Windows MVP knows his style.
Well, he's up against LGIM Jürgen, so very strong German player. That's definitely a tough opponent to beat, and I don't blame him.
I love the blocks on the wall here that he's doing with the drone. That's very, very annoying. Block the command center, made it go down on the low ground, block the wall a little bit longer, and now he can go get out if he wants to, or he can steal the gas.
We have now once again the gas and also the spawning pool for Kangho.
Same build every game, it feels like, except the one game he went double hatch before pool.
Yeah, I would love him to do that a little bit more often. But with the gas that he has, this is just a style. You know, he can go into double upgrades. We've seen that. Double upgrades first, then go into the layer tech. We've seen him with the fast speed, trying to control the map at the beginning and then head later on into... oh wow, heavy supply block here. Just highlighted by Legend again. We have 18 of 18 supply. He missed one of his overlords. But yeah, talking about this again. With the early gas that he gets, he has so much gas that he has several paths that he can go down. Fast tech, fast speed, double upgrades, Roach Baneling. A lot of potential here. But now he actually was supplyable for quite a significant amount of time, and that delayed his queens.
I wonder if it's because he was focusing so much on microing his drone to be annoying.
It wasn't too much, but it was a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, there's the 100 gas. Will we see a 5-minute layer again? That's the question. That's definitely not going to be what MVP expects. I don't think we'll see that.
Speed this time, and he also pulled out a few of the drones. He doesn't mind with a complete set of drones anymore in his extractor.
Yeah, just one. As shown here.
An MVP with a bunker now at the front and also heading, of course, into the factory again. Drop or no drop? That's going to be the question for MVP. He was relying a lot on especially the Halberd drops again. So, smart decision. Ask it, Ro.
Yeah, he'll tell you that. The second gas hasn't been taken yet, though. He's going to take it a little bit later, even if he does go for the Hellbats. Setting up that wall. And, you know, MVP is playing like just very similar styles, very macro-oriented games over and over again. It's Kangho, again, like you said before, is the one who's always making the choice of, am I aggressive, or actually in his case more so, how am I going to be aggressive in this game?
Yeah, definitely. Joining up quite nicely behind this, and we have him, not quite with the 100 gas hit that he needs for Letic, but usually, as I said earlier, in one of our Terran vs Zerg matches, you try to drop that at roughly 7 minutes. Going into the third base here first. It's just going to be the question, attack on 3 bases without saturation or not. The drone count will be important. I love how he hides his drone here.
That's really smart because now MVP is a little bit in the dark, and Kangho's the type to be aggressive for sure. Good check here with the depot, making sure there's no Nidus in the main.
Yeah, probably going to build one to the right side too very soon.
I think so. He sends the Marine instead. Very
Getting
smart.
Additional queens out here too. Going into queen number 3 and number 4 now.
Yeah, it starts to look more likely he's going to add the evolution chambers soon and just play that same style we saw on Leo Planet S.
Yeah. Overlord did see most of it. Had a pretty good look in the main base. There's the Roach.
There's the Roach Warren though, yeah.
Yep.
Blue Flame. Blue Flame, the choice here of MVP. And right now he's making triple Hellions, so he did do that double factory build.
Here comes at the front, one spying out. You know, there's actually like a build that where you can really be massively aggressive with roaches on the map. You have the 3 bases and you use the lava, you don't saturate the 3rd. This is something that we've seen before. And the roach drone itself has not been spotted just yet. And that is really important if you go for this build. It's at the natural, and we have the double evolution chamber that he's also trying to hide. What you would usually do is put that to the front, and then you can go for it. This is a build where I actually made a tutorial for on my YouTube channel, and that is like so dangerous, especially on this map. Like, this is one of the best maps to execute it. This is like the go-to map if you want to go for this build. And he is just massing up a huge amount of drones, roaches right now, and then we'll start to attack.
Yeah, it's very tricky. MVP, on the other hand, is going into double... Oh, this one's be careful. He's going into double... Oh, he lost both. That Hellion's interrupting my train of thought here. He wants to go into double armory, so he's going into mech play here on this map. A great map for mech.
It's not quite that build, by the way. He should have started his lair tech already and then start to line up the upgrades and the speed upgrade. He doesn't do that. But it's still very, very dangerous. And the thing is, like, with mech, he's called...
Oh my god.
What?
No wall. And MVP is totally scouted here.
And you know, I was just about to say that with mech it's not going to be an issue because we already have roaches, so that's exactly what you have when you're facing map. Here comes the lair tech in the 1-1, and right now with spotting this, the first thing that should happen is Kango actually cancelling the +1 melee upgrading, going into range.
Yeah, going to range, exactly.
Well, I guess against... It depends on what he wants to do. You can go into Swarm Host, so you can later on just try to get the Brute Lords out, and then of course the range up at the melee upgrade will help you once again.
These roaches that are coming down here are going to have to turn around. They're not going to get anything done. I mean, anything at all.
Yeah,
they're not even going to be able to get the Hellions.
The siege tank here is going to shut this down.
Ouch.
If you want to go for the build that I mentioned earlier, what you try to do is get 1-1 out at the same time that you get speed for the roaches. This is why you have to take into lair faster. And then even if there are 2 or 3 siege tanks, it doesn't matter. You have so many units that you can just speed up. But now he's in trouble since he doesn't have the mobility to send units over to the 3rd base and save those drones. He's actually falling behind quite rapidly here if he doesn't pay attention.
MVP is doing a ton of damage. He canceled Blue Flame, but with this many Hellions, doesn't really even need it. And now he's going to try to sneak into the main. Oh! Go to the left side. Gets in there. And he's just going to scout a little bit with this one Hellion. He's not going to get too much done. In fact, the drones could almost fight, and he will.
He kind of changed his plan here midway. And you know, now he's got... okay, that's why I didn't understand why he went through with the plus... Oh, he canceled the +1 armor attack upgrade, right? Now he goes into triple up.
Yes. He's... Wait, yeah.
Okay, wait.
That was really tricky. I was like, wait a minute.
No, wait a second. That is really silly what he's doing here. The thing is, like, he's going to Swarm Hosts now. That's why we have an infestation pit. I said that earlier. Okay, if he wants to go into the melee upgrade, then it makes only sense to get the Brute Lords out later.
Yes.
But when the melee upgrade is nearly completed, he cancels it, goes into range for the Locusts, and then starts the melee upgrade again.
It must have been a mistake to cancel that.
I guess so.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, and...
Because that's a little bit silly. You don't cancel an upgrade that is nearly done just to start it again.
Yeah, it never makes sense to cancel an upgrade that's more than like 60% done almost ever.
He wants to have both in the later stages of the game. That's why he's doing that. I feel that he really had an idea of how to do this, how to play this game, and then when he scouted mech, which he apparently did not really think would happen, he suddenly... I don't want to say he fell apart, but his timings just were off, and he was like, okay, wait a second, I have to adjust my build here, and it took him a little while of getting this down. But now he's going into the additional bases, and now he's playing like a complete anti-mech build. Yeah. Squashes the circling in the process, which is always a little bit sad.
It is a little bit sad, just a little bit, because there's only one. If it were like 12, it would have been really sad. But just one, you know, he's just a statistic, that circling. I bet there's like somebody who has a track of every time a professional match somebody's lost units to destructible rocks. This is a lot of damage being done here, actually, with these Hellions. And those 3 drones barely escaping here.
Yeah, the 3rd base is just always a weakness in his play, it seems.
Yeah.
It happened like several times already.
He's going to drop in the natural now again, too, and trading against even these Zerglings is great for him. With all the roaches he has on the map, this should not happen. He's having to use a lot of larvae now on these units. A few mutas coming out with the Swarm Host, so he's going to be able to finally clear up this last drop.
This is actually funny that he gets the Mutalists out to have something against drops. I kind of like that.
I like it too. It's not what you always see with these Swarm Hosts, but I like it.
You just have to keep them alive. That's the big part. You have to make sure they're not supposed to fight or anything or really do a lot of damage. You can harass with them as long as the base isn't protected, but the bigger part is really making sure that they shut down any kind of drop. But I don't really think we are going to see too much dropping here. You can snipe a siege tank or two, but with a mech composition, usually you don't deal with a strong drop wave.
Yeah. Picks off 3 siege tanks. That's a lot of damage done.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
I mean, he kills the drop, kills 3 siege tanks, and now he's just got his mutas flying away. They're going to be useful for further drop denials and also, just picking off units here or there. Uh-oh, Widowmine though. Nice tank there.
Good. Yeah, good tank. Really well done. Takes down a few of the harvesters. He is really using those mutalisks to the maximum extent possible.
Yeah, I never thought he'd be able to do this much damage, to be honest. And now continuing the triple upgrades. And with all the Thors coming out for MVP, you will be able to deal with the mutas and also keep some of those swarm hosts at bay if you can kick past the locusts.
I like that he's going into a hive now. He would love to have a few Vipers out there for the Blinding Cloud.
Blinding Cloud, and also maybe an Abduct or 2 against the siege tanks, depending on the situation.
But he's really going into a really great composition. He has so many swarm hosts already. That is your weapon against mech. That is what you want. And he has so many of them. He's going up to, I think, 17 by now.
Yeah, let me check, actually.
I think
17 exactly, you're correct. This is going to start to trade against the Hellbats.
And those are trades that are not really efficient, of course, because they don't cost the Zerg player anything.
Yep, his satellite base over here at the 9 o'clock is spotted. He's going to lose every single one of his gas mining drones here, unfortunately. That's 6 drones lost, and doesn't kill the larva, but gets away, and we'll just go right into the third base, which has been the problematic base this entire game.
Yeah, where are those mutalisks? Oh, there they are. Okay, coming in right in time.
Yeah, still some drones lost, and really good trades against the Zerglings, and again, now going into the third base.
Yeah, and it's cool to see MVP just dedicating so much to these drops. Usually with the mech army, you really don't see a lot of them. But now with those Hellbats, he's really building those extra Medivacs just to make sure that he can also be a bit more mobile. I really like this. He needs to move back with those swarm hosts, and that's exactly what he does. The scan is good, a little bit too late, doesn't lose too much here. Moves back right away and took down a few units in the process thanks to the locusts.
Yep, the drop finally cleaned up in the main base. Those roaches just chilling out. Kongo constantly remaining max, starting to build that bank. The Greater Spire is started. Locusts here want to trade once more. The one Swarmos on the edge of the scan there.
He can snipe tanks now, and that's exactly what he does. One tank gone, another one gone. He's doing a great job with this. I really love how he's using them.
Yep, he's going to have another spawn of Locusts right now.
Yep, and he's getting the Greater Spire now. That's why we've seen those triple upgrades the entire time. Even a run-by attempt here. Keeping his opponent at bay with the Locust. Going for a run-by, trying to do some damage, buying time for the Greater Spire. All the pieces coming together now, but MVP trying to increase the pressure.
Yep, this one siege tank is going to keep these roaches back for quite some time. Locust coming in here again, though. He needs to pick up and leave.
Yeah, he needs to move back. But the problem is at some point he's just going to run out of space. And that's going to happen very soon. The base to the bottom left is completely exposed. And MVP isn't even bothering with it. He's moving in right away. And once again, Kangho just moving back.
He's running out of space, though, like you said. Another good scan here. And the tanks are getting very, very close.
Yeah, he's screwing up his timing a little bit. The Greater Spy will be done in a second, but he needs those Corruptors first. He's not losing too much.
Roaches trading
have a lot of time left.
Yeah, he's cutting off some reinforcements, but the bigger problem is the army that's on his doorstep. Another good scan here.
Oh, he abandons the idea completely. He goes into 20 Mutalisks. All the resources are gone. There won't be any Corruptors now. Or he has the Corruptors, but he doesn't have the Broodlords. He decided that he doesn't have enough time. He has to build those Mutalisks. And you know, against 4 Thors with good magic boxing, that could work. It's a thin line, but it could work. Especially with Corruption being used.
Yeah, here we go. He's going for it. Corruption going down, hits a Viking with it by mistake.
Well, yeah.
Magic Boxer is decent. He's trying to drop mules to repair.
Here's the Corruption. Finally, it was a little bit too late, but the first Thor is down, the second one too, and now there's just too many Mutalisks. He takes down the last 2, and there is no anti anymore. And now he can chase down those tanks. This is exactly what he's trying to do. He's moving in. He's
Kill the base on his way out.
Down.
The Lings here are going to try to trap. 6 Broodlords are on the way now. Kongo drops in supply. But he's killing so many of MVP's tanks here.
That reminds me very much on the Daybreak game the Cloud Kingdom game where MVP against Life was trying to use siege tanks against Broodlords. That didn't work. And guess what? Since then, not much has changed. They also suck against Mutalisks.
Yeah, they're not very good against Mutas. Definitely bad against Void Race too, but you know, he's remaxed relatively quickly. He had a bank, and oh no, these Mutas are not very good against turrets.
Yeah. That's true.
He's trying to eliminate the Vikings, though. As you can see, it's worth it for him to kill a few Vikings. That means his Broodlords are a little bit stronger.
So he killed a lot here, but he took MVP took down the base at the bottom left. We have the Broodlords, so the tech is kind of completed for Kangho. He would still like to have a few Vipers out in the game to drop a few Blinding Clouds, but he doesn't have a lot of gas. That's his biggest issue at this point. He needs more gas, and he's really committing to a very air-heavy army that is supported by Locusts on the ground, getting more and more Corruptors now into the game. But I think 1 or 2 Vipers for Blinding Cloud would go a long way.
I would love to see that. Right now we have the Raven transition underway for MVP. Starts Corvid Reactor. He's going to need to add a few more starports here. Tiny little Ling Run by going to get into the main base. Not going to be too important, but Kangho has a very strong army, and he's spawning a lot of free units.
Yeah, a ton of them. But can he really deal with the air units here? Especially the Vikings, of course, being a huge problem. He's trying to just buy time for the Locusts to spawn, and there they are, the Infestors. So the Swarm Hosts have to move back, and all of the Broodlords are already gone. Kangho is getting kind of dismantled here.
Yep, the last of the Vikings and the Thors are going to push through. He could also put the Thors into anti-air mode and do a ton of damage to the Broodlords if he wants to. He wants to be a little bit faster on the attack, though. He's just not wasting time for that transformation.
He's down so much supply at this point. This is not looking good at all.
Trying to switch to Roaches. It's not going to work against this many siege tanks.
That is desperation. That is really desperation. That's the panic button that he's pressing right now. And that worked in Wings of Liberty, especially in the first few patches, very well. But in Heart of the Swarm against this army, it's not working.
Not going to work. Corruptors dancing. A little bit awkwardly here. The tank siege is good, and these Roaches are going to disappear so quickly. Kangho out of luck here, it looks like.
Yeah, MVP is going to take this game. He will advance together with Alicia. GG. MVP doing it. The second player to advance from Group B today. Well played by MVP here, but I thought that Kangho had several times where he could have taken that game.
Yeah, he certainly had some better opportunities there, and you know, if he had just played a little bit less greedy, or I don't want to say greedy, I want to say if he hadn't gambled as much with some of his aggressive builds, I think he could have definitely had some better chances in some of these series that he played today. He was very, very aggressive. The final game was, you know, as straight up as it gets, but he just couldn't quite fight that mech army.
I feel you need, if the mech army is this big, I think you need a few Vipers in there. As it is, like, we've been with Group B busy for a long time right now. I think Group C has actually already started. We're going to jump in Group D very soon. But as you can see, MVP and Alicia, the 2 players that are advancing out of Group B, we have basically casted for 6 hours in this group.
Yeah. I mean, if we were casting a normal day, it would be midnight right now.
Yeah. So we are going very soon into Group D and start with the next one. And
30-minute break.
Apparently we have a half an hour break. That means we can get a coffee, which is actually highly appreciated. So guys, we will be back in half an hour, and then we will have Group D where Dimaga is playing. D for Dimaga. Tune in 30 minutes on the second stream of GomTV. We'll see you then.